So we've made it to the end of our first season of Football Manager 2019. The decision now is, do you want to see a second season of this save with Bayern Munich? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to leave this completely up to you. And I've got a feeling the decision is going to be based quite heavily on what happens in this Champions League final. Hello and welcome to part 11 of my Football Manager 2019 playthrough with Bayern Munich. I'm Kev. Coming up on today's episode, we do have that Champions League final against Manchester United. But first, the small matter of settling who is going to be Bundesliga's top goal scorer this season. Obviously, we did already win the league on yesterday's episode. If you didn't see that, apologies for the spoilers. But Robert Lewandowski scored 5 goals against Dortmund in that game, which actually allowed him to leapfrog Timo Werner for the first time all season. We go into the last game, Lewandowski on 23 goals, Werner on 21. So obviously it's only fair to start them both in this final game of the season, and this is the team that we're going to be playing. We've got Neuer in goal, a back four of Alaba, Hummels, Boateng and Kimmich, Goretzka and Thiago in midfield. Rodriguez is going to play in his usual position, but then we've got Werner up top, supported by a double Raumdeuter, Lewandowski and Müller. I've decided to start Werner up top because Lewandowski's got the 2-goal advantage, so he can start out wide. If Werner gets a hat-trick and Lewandowski doesn't score, we're going to swap them over. They're both going to play as much of the match as it feels sensible to play. It's 2 weeks until the Champions League final. So unless they get injured, there's no reason to take them off, even if their condition starts to drop a little bit. And there's every chance we're not going to get any goals from either of them today. I'm not that bothered. I just want them both to score goals. But it would be nice to give them the opportunity to settle this the right way and decide who's going to be top scorer. And I think the fairest outcome would obviously be 2 goals for Werner, and they share the golden boot or whatever you get, whatever the equivalent is in German football, because they've both been exceptional throughout the entire season. But we've got to give them both the opportunity to go out and win it in this last game. So Kimmich with the throw to Thiago. Be interesting to see if they pass to each other at any point. There's James. It comes down. I thought it was going to drop down to Müller, but in actual fact, Dusseldorf get the opportunity to have a little bit of a break on us. We've left a little bit of a gap at right back there, but Hummels is it's like running into a brick wall. That was ridiculous. Lewandowski back in his own half, very unfamiliar territory for him, but he's just going to skip over a challenge. Finds James. Didn't go anywhere near Werner with that, did he? Alaba now with a chance to cross. Lewandowski is in the middle. All 3 of them are lined up, and there's Müller, and he grabs the first goal. He doesn't want us to forget about him. It's only his 14th for the season, and in his defence, I think I've maybe started him as a striker once all year. The rest of the time he's always been in one of the 3 attacking midfield positions, so to get 14 goals from there is not to be sniffed at. I think it's important just to give us a little bit of a reminder. You know, I'm pretty good too. It's not all about these two. We're blessed with some very, very, very good attacking players, and we're going to need them against Manchester United in that Champions League final. But we're 1-0 up. It stretches the lead at the top of the Bundesliga to 8 points from Dortmund, which, I mean, we have been dominant. It seems only fair. And Thiago finds Lewandowski. I've not seen Werner touch the ball yet, and Lewandowski ignores him completely and finds Müller. Kimmich plays it back to Müller, and Lewandowski and Werner are in the middle. Müller cuts it back to Goretzka, and everyone's ignoring them both. If they're going to grab goals, they're going to have to do it all by themselves. And I think that's completely reasonable. I might swap them. What I should have done is given that instruction where you can get them to automatically swap over. In fact, that might even be more fun. That's still a thing you can do, isn't it? If you go into player instructions and we want him to swap positions with Lewandowski and just have the 2 of them swap him regularly. They're going to have to decide amongst themselves when they swap, but they both get the opportunity to play up front, and they both get slung out onto the wing as a Raumdeuter occasionally as well. So Kimmich plays it forward to Müller, who's always a Raumdeuter and loves it. Goretzka out to Alaba, and I think Werner's still playing up front at the moment, but Lewandowski's basically playing next to him. Alaba with the whipped-in cross, but it's straight into the keeper's hands, and a little bit of a glance between the 2. Shall we swap over now? No, we're not swapping yet. I want a little bit more time up front. Lewandowski gets the ball again on the wing. He's getting a lot of ball out there. Probably because he's our form player, so it makes sense to get the ball to him, and I think the whole team realise that he's the most likely to stick it in the back of the net. Cross comes in. Neuer was very hesitant there for a sweeper keeper, for a man who's supposed to be the best goalkeeper in the world. You come out and take that cross or punch it clear or whatever you want to do with it. You don't sort of half come and then let their striker just nod it into effectively an open goal. This was just really poor goalkeeping. I want to see a little bit more bravery from him there. Just step forward and just grab that ball out of the air like you're supposed to. Yes, proceed with tactical change. We want to see the two of them swapping around. I don't know how often they're going to do it. Werner's still been up front for the entire game so far, so they've not swapped over yet. Maybe they'll start the second half swapped over. And the fans will just assume it's a tactical thing and I've swapped them myself. Right, let's be assertive. I know it doesn't really matter. Yeah, we want to finish the season with a win. We want that. As much as it's fun, it's all about trying to get top scorer. We do want to take the momentum into the Manchester United game in the Champions League final. So we certainly don't want to be losing this match, and we should be winning it comfortably. So Kimmich plays it forward to Müller. And I think have they swapped over now? They're just both basically playing as strikers. Müller crosses towards Werner, who's fouled. Now, who's going to take the penalty? If we get a penalty, it's gone to VAR, and it is a penalty, and it's Lewandowski to take, and it's saved. The story continues. Werner should have taken the penalty. I didn't get an opportunity to swap it, but it absolutely should have been Werner taking the penalty in the circumstances to make the difference back to 1 goal. Hammers now with the free kick, curls towards Hummels, and Hummels scores. It's his 6th of the season. It's a lovely free kick. Weirdly bunched together players in the 6-yard box. Nobody in these kind of areas at all, but Hummels just, like I said earlier, it's like running into a brick wall. That was like kicking a ball into a brick wall. It just bounces back into the back of the net. It's a lovely header. It's 2-1, and Lewandowski's aggressive now. Thiago with the corner now, and it's another beauty. He's taken some stunning corners this season, and the other centre-back scored. Jerome Boateng, his 4th of the season. Goretzka gets the assist. It's a generous assist because I think it was just a shot that did it rebound back off the post. Thiago, it's a beautiful corner. Goretzka, unlucky that's bounced back on the post. Actually, you know what? I say it's a generous assist. It's not, because if the goalkeeper didn't get the faintest of touch on that, it's drilled into the bottom corner. So actually, it probably deserved more than an assist. And we're going to leave those two to do whatever nonsense they're doing and just make substitutions around them. So Thiago can come off, and we'll put Paqueta on in midfield. Why on earth not? Kimmich, it's a shame we've not got Rafinha on the bench to get a standing ovation when he comes on as he says goodbye. But Müller, will bring Forsberg on for him. And should we bring Wolf on for Rodriguez? Just because I like Wolf, and it's going to be his last opportunity for football this season because he's not in the Champions League squad. There's Timo Werner, and nope. No goals for you today, sir. And we've had 23 shots in this match, and neither of the top scorers in the league have scored from any of them. Very disappointing. And I've not seen Lewandowski. They've not swapped at all. Does that button not work anymore? Has anyone else tried that in the FM19 beta? Maybe it doesn't work because they haven't swapped at all. Maybe I did it wrong, but there doesn't seem to have been any swapping over there. And all we've really learned is Werner and Lewandowski in this combination don't work together. But we've won the game. We've won the league. And now we can go to the main event of the episode, which of course is the Champions League final against Manchester United, where we're going to cross everything and hope that we can gegenpress our way to Champions League glory in the beta. Never won the Champions League in the beta, but I don't think I've ever won anything in the beta before. Just winning the Bundesliga in the beta is pretty special. But if we can add a Champions League to that as well, my word, the crowd would go wild. Why is this game still going on? What's happening there? Right. Calmly. Good win. Well done. I'm not that fussed about it. But league season is over. Wolf can go off on his holiday now. And the rest of us prepare for the Champions League final. Here we go then. The big one. And look how fit our players are after that 2 weeks of perfect training. All low injury risk. All 100. I mean, Rodriguez, only 99% condition. But I think that qualifies as training pretty well. Emil Forsberg, by the way, just won Euro Cup or Europa League Player of the Season for his performances for Leipzig earlier in the year, and now he's going to be playing in the Champions League final, because he comes into the team at the expense of Werner, which I think is the one change from the match that we just played. This is our Champions League final team. I've never done a Champions League final in the second half of an episode before. This is a new experience for me. Robben and Ribery, by the way, as well as being out of contract at the end of the season, have both now announced their retirement for the end of the season as well. So we've seen the last of them. They're not playing in this game. They're not on the bench. We've moved on. The end of the era happened earlier in the year. Right, let's get out there. Oh, Man United are unbeaten in the last 7 games, but we don't have the Premier League loaded, remember, so we don't actually know how good they are. Go out there and prove to everyone that you are winners. Yeah, do that. Let's go and win the Champions League. This would be insane. So, here we go then. And we are doing our normal gegenpressing system. I did toy with the idea of pulling out the counter-attacking system that we used in the second leg against Juventus on yesterday's episode, but thought, you know what, it's a one-off game against Manchester United. I think we're a better team than Manchester United, and we should be able to beat them. And we've just scored inside the first minute, and it's James Rodriguez, 26th goal of the season. Doesn't matter that he's the least fit player in the squad and only 99% condition. He's just scored an absolute beauty in a Champions League final. Alaba played it into Goretzka, who I think might be my player of the season. But Rodriguez, look at that. Look at it. Straight past the United keeper. And, yeah, we're 1-0 up. Huzzah. I mean, just look at those 2 11s. We are absolutely a better team than Manchester United. My front four has nothing to fear from their back four. Goodness me. And Alexis Sanchez has picked up an injury for them as well. How come? I didn't realise you got so many players on the bench for the Champions League final. I'd have brought in some of my youngsters. I've only got 10 substitutes, whereas United have 12. Imagine going to the Champions League final and not being able to fill your bench. I just didn't even notice. And yes, I am still getting my assistant manager to pick my substitutes for me. I'm doing a lot of stuff now. You've seen me do my team talks. I'm doing my training. You saw me do that in the last episode. I'm still never going to pick my own bench. And yeah, so Ribery and Robben are on the bench today, despite me saying they weren't. There they are, bless them, the 2 old men hanging around. I'll perhaps bring them on when the 4th goal goes in. I'll bring them both on, and they can say goodbye in the Champions League final. Right, do we get assertive? Yeah, assertive, don't get complacent out there. That's motivated everybody. That's exactly what we needed. We just need to go out there and hold on. We're 1-0 up. It's been a nothing game after that first goal. The goal went in inside the first minute. Nothing's really happened since. And now an injured Alexis Sanchez is trying to do the same in the first minute of the second half. He hits the post and we scramble it clear eventually through Kimmich. And Pogba's picked it up again in midfield for United. It's with Herrera, Pedro. They're playing the ball around rather nicely now. We need to just get a hold of the game again. We don't want to let them back into it. They've not really been involved at all so far. They've taken off Lukaku and stuck Sanchez up front, which is weird because he's injured, and gone to they are still doing a 4-1-4, and I think that's what they were doing before. Lewandowski with the free kick and hits I don't know if it was the crossbar or just the top of the net, but either way, it wasn't particularly threatening. It never looked like it was going in. And I think it might be closing in on time for us to make some substitutions. I think Lewandowski's probably going to be the man who comes off. We've got Timo Werner sat there. It seems silly not to bring him on in the circumstances. Muller also not playing particularly well, so we can bring Kingsley Coman on for him. And I mean, I love having such a strong squad. What a double substitution to be able to make in a Champions League final when you're already a goal ahead. And now we've got a corner of Thiago. We'll just watch this before we decide what to do next. Thiago whips it into Boateng, and it's just over from Boateng, and we are going to make our final substitution now. United are all fired up by the feedback. See, I've not done it. I've still never really used shouts. I don't think now is the time to do it because I might break the game. Right, we've got Gnabry. Gnabry's going to come on for Forsberg just for energy. I love a bit of energy. I'm so tempted to do a shout. Should we do a shout? Hold on, let's do a shout. Concentrate. Do we just shout at them and tell them to... We're literally just going to shout, concentrate! I mean, they're doing all right. No, I'm not going to do it. I don't know what the right thing to do in this situation is. Nothing seems appropriate. Goretzka's picked up an injury. You know what would be appropriate, though? Go into our counter-attacking system, but I missed the pause button, minimised the screen and lost 5 minutes. Right, we're going to just go to that for the last minute now. We should probably park the bus, but we don't need to. Thiago's taking the corner. The game should be over. Hummels heads it straight into the arms of De Gea, and there's been nothing happen in this game apart from that first minute goal, and it shouldn't matter because I think we've just won the Champions League. My word. We've won the Bundesliga and the Champions League in our first season with Manchester United. If you remember right back at the start of this series, when Miles Jacobson himself, studio director of Sports Interactive, the makers of the game, helped me build a tactic. This tactic that we're still using now, I think we can all agree it's very important that nobody tell him how it turned out. We don't want the man to get a big head. But goodness me, we've won the Champions League, which I guess ends the series. I'm going to leave it down to you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you want another season, but what else could we achieve in a second season? We won it all. We freshened up an old squad, and we've got £150 million to spend, so we just bring in defenders. Spoilers, that's what we'd do if we did another year. Let me know. I'm happy to do another season if you want another season. Otherwise, we can just double down on Chelsea for the second half of this 2-week beta and just do Chelsea 7 days a week. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And, of course, as soon as the main game is out, we will get started on Non-League to Legend with St Albans. But we will end things there. I'm assuming it's the end of the series. But, like I say, it might not be. But if you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.